Peace. The thoughts and opinion of some of the music played here on the Beats, Rhymes, and Race BRR show are not necessarily those of keepers of the art and us as individuals. Enjoy.
The only place you see Dr. King's speech, the I Have a Dream speech, is in hip-hop. Americans are always, Dr. King! There ain't nowhere in America Dr. King dreams. Nowhere in the United States. And I will challenge the world on that too. Nowhere in the world do you see this part where my children will one day grow up in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin or by the content of their character. That's nowhere on the globe. Nowhere. The only place you see that actually happening, like actually going on culturally, is in hip-hop.
I make wax, I pay tax, I don't sell cracks, accept the kickbacks. You call up on dispatch, the deal you done did with a dealer. You done dissed him, took letters from his box, now he's buried in the system. You see me coming out of my building, all types of days and nights, wondering if I got a 9 to 5. Clothes are always new, so you cry, I spy. I flash, you go smile, you're in the corner of my eye. Walking, I feel a whole cover right beside me. So for fun, I act nervous and start to walk lively. Sharp left for eye, then I start to jog. Heavy speed accelerating from the J8's car. The sirens sound violent, they expect more, not ready. I'm on the stoop with my man named Little Eddie. We start laughing, cause next door for me is a house that has traffic like drugs are free. But I'm a new face in a new place of a melon race. Gets black to them, makes a good fella case. Yeah, that's not so. And I get mad cause everywhere I go, long as I'm dark, rocking Clarks, I'm a Philistine. Police be clocking me. 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 They clocking, jocking, and knocking me, wanting a reason for rocking me, but I ain't committing no crime, so that's what's stopping me. Yo, see, rolling for Dolo with solo. Cop car comes screeching in my presence in a second, yelling. I'm scared, I cannot stop. Hop over a fence, running frantic. Sending no seeking to a panic. I fuse Sticky Rodney, hardly you won't scar me, beating me down. Yelling, smelling the old day corpse cinder. Fucking hard, but soft to a stick. Some cops are cool and some are just downright dicks. You want asphyxiate me in a chokehold, death mocking me. So for that, eat my dust and keep clocking me. Check your speedometer, check how I'm flashing. Nice sticks if you don't have the same type of fashion. 2 blocks behind me, 2 Jakes and 1 blue and white. Pair Glocks equals 32 shots. I think not. Police be clocking me. 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 What for? Is it my B-boy presence mixed with mature? Is it the way stoning me, comb the city in a bench? Legitimate plus without ends. Paperwork was right. Beside us at a red light, giving dirty looks. I guess assuming we were crooks, scoping the car. Tags up the bar, rim shining in your face with the tires armor rolling. Don't dig it. All young is my complexion, been through getting stressed. So I know you understand what I manifested. Flannery O'Toole, Vasquez, a black cop Jones. All crooked with fat rides and homes. Watch your own PD. Put an APB on your sergeant. Corrupt cash, career skating on the margin. Next time, give me my rights. Check out the snipes. Look behind you on the wall, sucker. I rock mics, you dumb jakes. Police be clocking me. 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 Police.
My brother, Big Ish. Yo, we are officially back in the building, man.
Yes, sir.
With another dope show. Socially relevant commentary, man. You know how we do each and every time the podcast hits the ground, y'all.
BRR.
Yes, sir. Beats,
Keepers
Rhymes,
of the
Race.
art.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the building, man.
Mm-hmm. Big Zoo on the board. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Hey, we got Now the intern in the building too.
Yes,
man.
sir. Nasty now. He's back in the building.
You know what I'm saying? You know. Hey, lot going on right now. You know, in
man.
the country. You know,
Yeah,
let's just get to the business. You know, lot going on.
Yeah, man. A lot going on, but nothing new ish.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot going on, but nothing is new.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, we just felt like with, you know, the recent police shootings of Phil Castile and Alton Sterling, man, that it was time for us to really, on the BRR show, deal with race relations, man, particularly when it concerns the police.
Yeah.
In the black community.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure.
Because it's, you know, what's interesting, man, is that, you know, like we said, you know, tension between police and the black community is not a new topic.
Nah.
You know, it's not a new topic, but every time there is an incident of violence, you know, from the police to members of the black community, this discussion on race relations resurfaces.
Yeah, I mean, it will, you know, because it resurfaces because it, you know, in my opinion, it never really gets dealt with, or talked about thoroughly or holistically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's so it's like you have a wild animal caged and it's trying to get out. It's going to continue to get out. It's going to continue to try to get out. You see what I'm saying? Because it's not meant to be caged. It's meant to be out and about, and same thing with the dialogue around race. It's like if I can symbolize, it's just like it's like a boiling pot on the stove, man. And we know there's a boiling pot on the stove, but we just refuse to acknowledge it. And
it's as long as we refuse to acknowledge all of the symptoms, to acknowledge or as long as we refuse to take responsibility, have an open and honest dialogue, the conditions are still going to exist.
You know, and that's real talk. And people, you know what? I think we have a large segment of American society that's trying to heal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I do. I'm black, white, and other. I think people. I think people want to put, try to put, America's racist past behind them. You know, it's easier said than done, first of all. But second of all, I think you have a large segment of the population that want to try to move forward and make things better. But you have this old guard, that's in place. This white power, this old guard white power structure that's still in place that controls so many aspects of American social system that they're just sitting back hitting buttons saying yay nay and just impacting policy, they're just really controlling the dialogue to the point where we just can't really sit down and have real conversations, man. And I'm talking mainstream media when I say that.
I got you. Well, you know what, family? Today we're gonna do something a little different on the Beats, Rhymes, and Race show. We're gonna deal with this topic, but we're also gonna reach out to one of the ancestors, man, to kind of help us put this whole thing in perspective. We're gonna get Brother Malcolm's perspective on some of these issues that the black community and our society as a whole are still confronting in 2016. So we're going to go back almost, 50 years?
Okay.
And reach out to the ancestor, man, and see if he can give us some words of wisdom as we try to put this thing in perspective, And one of the things, Ish, that I found kind of fascinating, man, when we talk about this whole conversation on race, when we were doing our research, man, we ran across an interview. I'm not even sure who the interviewer and the person being interviewed was, but it was a white lady interviewing a black man. And they were talking about setting up the parameters for a proper discussion on race.
Okay.
And the first thing she said, how can we have a meaningful discussion on race without it being offensive? And I was like, wow, can you do that? Can we have a meaningful discussion, a truthful discussion on race without somebody being offended?
Well, I think, first of all, I think you have to have, I think there needs to be spiritually and emotionally mature people, first of all, to have that dialogue. You know, and even then, you know what I'm saying, I would say people might be offended. I mean, because, you know what? Let me stop dancing. No, it's I don't think that you can have a meaningful discussion on race and people not get offended. I know.
I think you can't go into the discussion being fearful of being offensive.
No,
you can't do that.
No.
Now,
but yeah,
as long as your dialogue is truthful, you can't go into it being afraid that you're going to be offensive by what you say.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Because there are certain things that black people feel, that when we express those feelings, some white folks might be offended by that, but that's okay. That's a part of the healing process. You know what I mean? It's like going to a counselor, and you telling that counselor, well, I'm gonna open up to you, but there are certain things that I'm not gonna open up about.
Right.
And he says, well, that's cool, because we don't want this to be too offensive. We don't want, feelings to get involved. So, just whatever you're comfortable with discussing, then we'll do that.
Right.
So you never get a proper counseling session.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
No, it does make sense. But I think you also have to look at it this way. How can you say that you're having meaningful dialogues about race when the planning of the dialogue is taking place? You don't have black people sitting down at the table in the planning process. You see what I'm saying? And especially when on news outlets like Fox News, CNN, that's taking place.
And you could it's almost like those discussions are scripted.
Yeah, it is scripted. It's
so there are certain topics that won't even hit the table.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It amazes me how these people consider themselves, journalistic intellectuals, and no one has created the dialogue of the historical perspective of race relations in this country, racism, white on black violence, you know what I'm saying? And it's social, psychosocial impact, you know what I'm saying? It's political impact, it's economic impact. It's like and part of it is and I understand white people, it's not y'all fault. You know what I'm saying? Part of it is y'all worldview. You know what I'm saying? See us as black people, our worldview teaches us how to see things, how things work together. So when we look at history, we don't put breaks in history. You see what I'm saying? Because we understand that something that may transpire 500 years ago can still have a real impact on people present day. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas I think the European worldview tends to kind of just break history up in segments and not and study things independently,
right?
And miss the impact of how things work together. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like. So until we understand that, we're not going to have meaningful conversations about race.
Our perspective
Our
is different.
perspectives
Our
are just,
worldview is different.
Yeah.
We come to the table, trying to have a discussion on collective racism, and that discussion is shut down when somebody says, well, I'm not a racist, so that doesn't, pertain to me.
Right.
So you're like, man, you just spinning your wheels in the mud.
Yes, but once again, I'm trying to be compassionate. It's like,
right,
it's not their fault. It's to a certain extent.
See, Ish, you know what?
To
man?
a certain extent,
I
understand.
It's a real clever practice that's used. Whenever we try to have a discussion on race, it's a real clever ploy that's used to distract, to discredit, And you know, you can't be afraid to call that out.
No,
I mean, it happens.
Yeah,
You know.
Yeah, you